good morning. My name is Nashrika. So I'm going to explain about the challenges of Tun Hussein Onn faced during his premiership. Okay, one of the challenges is Islamic revivalism. It is means of manifestation of a growing mobilization around Islam, referred as dakwah. The increase of the people who join Islamic dakwah which expose Islamic ideas and propagate doctrines of a pure Islamic way of life. The problem is, many of these dakwah organizations promote their objective by political militancy and by active participation in politics. So for the government, the increase of the mobilization of the dakwah group pose both threat and challenges. So among the example of the dakwah group is Perkim, Abin, Darul Arkam, Jemaat Tabligh and Aliran. Most of these organizations, led by the new Malay politic leader and intellectual elites, and many Malays tend to join them. So this organization has become a threat to UMNO. So the coercion and confrontation approaches taken by the government. That's all. Thank you. So for the next challenge, I will pass to my group leaders.
Hi, my name is Norshaira binti Ohizan. I'm going to continue our next part, which is Chinese politics with Barisan Nasional. So not only there is a fracture inside UMNO through factionalism, there were also signs of fracture among the non-Malay political parties within the Barisan Nasional. So there is three fundamental causes. First is general feeling of being used for political support of the government. Next, being largely ignored in policy matters, especially pertaining the vital interests of the non-Malay communities. Next, the distribution of political patronage that used to reward confident and cooperative elites was increasingly viewed as inadequate. Therefore, emerged movement of reform and opposition its incumbent leaders challenging their legitimacy and threatening to displace them. This is because the incumbent accused of being the seal or passive supplicants to the dominant Malay leadership of the federal level. Early 1970, the Chinese Unity movement was established with the objective to generate a new dynamic leadership within MCA. Within MCA, there is a factional struggle between the Chinese Unity Movement CUM group, in which the group seek to define Chinese rights as opposed to the Malay and indigenous rights. Eventually, CUM was diminished by MCA under the pressure from the Barisan Nasional through eliminating more militant spokesmen in CUM in order to preserve party discipline. Next is, however, the constraint placed by Barisan Nasional on a public mobilization for policy demand by constituent parties made it difficult to non-Malay politicians in Barisan Nasional to compete with the opposition parties for support of their constituents. Therefore, MCA in 1974, under the presidency of Lee San-chun, began to explore various projects which would benefit the Chinese without raising major objection from other constituent parties in the Barisan Nasional. The strategy was developed in order to the Chinese community could keep up the changing economic condition and more competitive business environment created by the NEP. This is because the government assistance and government-sponsored Bumiputra Corporation were posing serious challenge to non-Malay, especially the Chinese commercial venture. The last one is, it's the planned strategy for Chinese revival, which are purchase controlling stock in the store to increase the Chinese influence in a public affair, in contrast to UMNO that control news Straits Times for the same purpose. Second is to promote Chinese stake in economy. MCA sponsored Chinese-based corporate structure as opposed to the government-sponsored the Malay-based corporate structure. And the last one is proposal of Merdeka University. That's all from me. We are moving on to the next point.
Hi, my name is Farah Ain and I will continue as what my previous friend had said. Okay, next issue, challenges, is about federalism issue in Sabah and Sarawak. As for federalism issue in Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi, or known as Abdul Rahman Yaakob as the Chief Minister Sarawak at that time, had exploited his power by create Partai Besaka Bumi Putra Sarawak, Bumi Putra Bersatu, PBB, which also includes the Sarawak National Party, SNAP, where most of the supporters are from non-Muslim native people. But the party's coalition starts to shake in 1978 election, where Abdul Rahman Yaakob accused for corruption and nepotism in PBB. So that the breakaway had met various of factionalism in PBB, whereas federalism issue in Sabah, there had been some tension or pressure from federal authorities which had made Tun Mustafa to resign as Chief Minister Sabah at that time, right after the 1976 election. Okay, but some USNO leaders hope that after the new government installed, they hope that Tun Mustafa will be the Chief Minister again, but to no avail. Tun Mustafa had died on plane crash in 6 June, which made the next Chief Minister appointed was Dato' Arif Saleh. So then Dato' Arif Saleh continued the rules of Tun Mustafa, but in different way, because at Tun Mustafa's era, there had been so full of waste and corruption happened. USNO then joined BN again back, but only in federal level after the 1978 election. That's all. Thank you. And I will pass to my next members.
Hi, my name is Noada Kirani binti Muhammad. For the next challenge, I will explain on the emergency in Kelantan. So, the emergency in Kelantan, which is happened in 1997, was the last emergency in the country. Internal political crisis within PAS aroused after a group of 20 passed the vote of non-confidence against Datuk Muhammad Nasir, who was the Menteri Besar of that state in Kelantan. In 1977, as a result, people went out to street to demonstrate. Many people was killed and injured during that time. Before the announcement of the emergency in Kelantan on November 1977, the federal government, under the premiership of Tun Hussein Onn, had discussed with Datuk Muhammad Asir Muda, the past president at that time, but consequently, the Kelantan State Administration was put under darurat for 96 days in order to improve the internal security. In the aftermath of the darurat, the voter in Kelantan rejected PAS in the state election of 11 March 1978. So that's all for me. I will pass to my friend on the next challenges.
Hi, my name is Noor Atira Amani binti Norizal. So I will explain the next challenge which Datuk Tun Hussein Onn have to encounter during his primacy, which is Datuk Harun Kids. So Datuk Harun Idris, he is known as one of outspoken critics to Hussein Onn. So Datuk Idris actually was elected as the UMNO Supreme Council and served Selangor, and was appointed as the 8th Minister of Selangor, Chief Minister of Selangor. So from 1964 to 1976, he was the longest Chief Minister in Selangor, which is he holding the office about 12 years, and resigned in April 1976. So from 1970s to 1979, he was the head of UMNO Youth and Supreme Council member. So he has a dynamic personality and has a large support from UMNO members, and always remembered as portrayed as the traditional Malay hero, because he has a strong defense of Malays' rights. So Dato' Harun Idris was expelled from UMNO and charged with corruption by the government due to his abuse of state fund. So he involved in losses incurred by Bank Rakyat and has been investigated by various corrupt and irregular activities, including anti-corruption agencies, and he later was being removed from the Chief Minister of Selangor. Dato' Harun career was marked by the 13 May case, where it has been triggered by political rally held at his residence in Kuala Lumpur, which is at Kampung Baru, and Harun's role in that case was not exactly clear because but the rally was held in front of his house and 2 innocent Chinese was killed and was paraded around the town. So Dato' Harun later was convicted and given 2 years prison, and there are a lot of protesters coming from the UMNO youth, especially from the youth, and want to giving a winning victory to him. So then Tun Hussein assumed the office of Prime Minister, and this problem brought forward into his judgment. Dato' Harun supporters pleaded for a pardon, remission of sentence, but Tun Hussein Onn moved to expel Harun from UMNO. Dato' Harun was accusation against Tun Razak, and that is why Tun Hussein action was because of it. So later Tun Hussein was decision is because of the business rule of law, and even there are stronger support from UMNO against Tun Hussein.